All right, so we are live. I always look surprised because it ends and it's real abrupt. But welcome everyone to Lazy Lab Podcast. Mac Cherry, your host here for tonight's episode, and with me I've got Walter Schofer, the 6-year active duty Navy veteran here, and now he's up there doing the heavy equipment operator stuff and crane operator stuff in Alberta, Canada.
Yeah, working in Alberta, but I live in Newfoundland. I do a bit of hunting and guiding in here as well.
That's right, hunting and guiding in Newfoundland, and I'm really excited to talk to Walter. And we may have some other folks joining us depending on the time. Time zones are all funky and wacky right now, but we'll make it work. And today's episode is a little bit special because we're talking about this little salute to the Navy birthday. So happy birthday, Navy! We're looking at 246 years, if I'm not mistaken, on my history there, and there's a lot to get into. So I'm just going to real quick, Walter, if you don't mind, just bear with me. I'm going to run through some of these Navy facts for everyone. So this is something that I am trying to get spun up on. Mitch is really big about history, and I want to make sure he put some notes together here for me to hit on the Navy birthday. So I want to make sure that I do a little bit of homage to that, right? So we got the Navy's 246 on October 13th is when it happened. And he's got some first uses here. So he's got the first use of submarines. So while the Navy's first commissioned designs for a submarine were handed over in 1875, it wasn't until 1898 that the first Holland submarine launched successfully. By the way, the submarine stuff, that's crazy. I don't know how anyone lives like that, but more power to them. First use of modern battleships. First use of naval aircraft was in 1911. U.S. Navy bought its first airplane, the Curtiss A-1 Triad, air power, and first aircraft carrier. So that happened in, let's see, first flight from the deck of a U.S. Navy cruiser was 1910, led to the 1927 Lexington class aircraft carriers. And that was the first operational aircraft carrier in the U.S. Navy. And then you get the first use of rigid hull inflatable boat. You can probably hear my dogs going nuts in the background there. Introduced in 1992, these rubber boats were originally meant for lifeboats in the 1960s, but the Navy now uses them for SEALs due to their lightweight, high-speed, all-weather specifications. So there's just some first of the U.S. Navy there. So, Walter, welcome to the show. I wanted to make sure I got those facts snuck in there because I know we got a small window of time and we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So,
absolutely.
First and foremost, Canada, eh?
Yes, sir.
So, why why Newfoundland? I just got to know. Like that's and I'll preface that real quick. I know you're about to answer here, but I spent time in Newfoundland. Am I saying that right? Newfoundland.
Yeah.
When a C-5 that was taking me across the ocean back over to Belgium broke down, and we emergency landed in Newfoundland, and I spent time there at the airport in Newfoundland for 3 days. And I don't know if you've been through that airport before, but it was fun.
There's a good chance it's exactly where I'm located right now.
Okay.
I live in Steamboat. It used to be the U.S. U.S. Air Force Base. In the 60s.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
That's where I'm at. That's what brought my family here. My father is from the States originally, right?
Oh, no kidding.
I was born and raised here in Newfoundland, here in Stephenville. And so the airport that's here was a U.S. Air Force base, which is what brought my father here. Did a lot of construction stuff on the base. So, that's what brought me to Newfoundland.
That's crazy. That's crazy stuff. So what is it about Newfoundland that is appealing to you? You know, so what are some of the natural, because it's lesser known as far as like your Canadian provinces and especially from an American standpoint, most Americans are like, I don't know what Newfoundland is. So pardon our ignorance, but what is appealing about it and what keeps you coming back for more?
I'd say it's just the outdoors. I mean, it is a very open, very vast piece of land. I mean, you're talking a province that's same size, same square footage as Texas or bigger, actually. Wow. I mean, it's a very large province. It's an island, you know what I mean? So that's kind of throws most people off. But I mean, it's an island all of its own. You know what I mean? We only joined Confederation in like 1948. So we were on our own. We were part of England until then, right? So
Holy smokes!
we
Yeah.
were pretty much our own place, right? So I mean, World War One was a lot of Newfoundlanders were in World War One, you know. So so it's there's a lot of heritage here. There's a lot of backgrounds. It's a
Yeah.
really nice place to go. It's really scenic. Really a lot of hunting, a lot of fishing.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we go, right? So from here we go to, I know Mitch has been trying to get something organized with you to do guided tours. So that's something that you do in Newfoundland, right? Or do you do that all across Canada, guided hunts and fishing trips?
I do mostly in Newfoundland, but I do some in Alberta. I'm actually got an elk hunt coming up here in November. I'm going on for myself. And I got 2 moose hunts. I got one in Alberta and one here in Newfoundland as well. So that's what I'm home for right now. My son's birthday and my moose hunt. So
There you go. So when you talk about a moose hunt, let's walk through that for a minute and forgive us. You know, we haven't had a chance to get out to the northern brothers of ours in Canada to do a moose hunt, but I really am very interested and really want to get out there. Just pandemic has really prevented us from being able to do so. Talk to me
absolutely.
about a moose hunt and what goes into that.
So usually typical moose hunt for us, we got a couple different setups. We got like what we consider a walk-in hunt, which is you stay at the main lodge, take a side by side, we go in the bush. We could be in for the day, we could be in for 2-3 days. We usually got some big wall tents and stuff. We try to stay pretty close to the lodge. We still got a couple hundred square miles to hunt, well, thousands of square miles, but you only got access to so much of it, you know.
Yeah.
And then our other hunts are fly-ins. So I think the hunt that we were supposed to do this year with Mitch was supposed to be a walk-in,
Okay.
but I believe next year we're going to be looking at the next possible opportunity is going to be a fly-in if we can do it. So there we'll fly up into the mountains and we'll touch down. We're in the mountains for 7 days, well 6 days roughly, because you got to fly in, fly out, right?
Sure.
And yeah, so you spot and stalk, right?
Yep. Now, can you hunt on the day that you fly in, or you have to set up camp and stay grounded?
You got to stay grounded for first day.
Okay.
So what we usually do is, so our hunts will start Monday mornings is what we try to do. So if we can, we usually try to get our customers to come in maybe a day early if possible. So day one will be Sunday. We'll fly out, get camp set up, do everything, and then Monday morning we're off and rocking and rolling. Right? Try to be back out by Saturday. I mean, now sometimes weather will set you in, so that kind of can change things. So if we got to change locations, we will. But
What's the pack out on something like that? So I would imagine like getting to camp, you have, quite a lot of gear to carry around. But once you go out on the hunt, what are you taking out with you?
I got day bags that I would normally take out. So you're gonna have typical hunter's gonna have their rifle, whatever their specific optics that they like for spotting. You know what I mean? If you want binoculars, you want a spotting scope, whatever. The hunter doesn't just got to worry about making sure he can take the shot. Really, to be honest,
Okay.
we take care of most of the work as far as butchering the animal and stuff. We try to fly them out whole because everything's done with helicopter. Right? We don't do any
Right.
there's boat planes or bush planes or nothing. So everything's done whole. So we'll just do the initial panching of the moose. So we'll pull the gut and everything out, and then after that we try to fly them out whole if we can.
Okay.
So
What's the reason for that?
It's just it's a lot easier with a helicopter to fly them out in one big piece, just for weight and minimal number of flights, right?
Yeah.
So what we'll do is usually we'll just get the helicopter to come in, we'll hook everything up, we'll fly the animal out. So the guide and the hunters will stay in the bush. They'll fly it out. They'll land it on a trailer out by camp, and then they'll fly back in and start picking us up. You just want to kind of lower your number of flights in and out to save time, save money, kind
Save
of thing.
time, save money. Yeah. So, it's fascinating stuff to me. What are you calling the moose in, or are you, what are some of the tactics that you employ when you're doing this?
We will call them in. It all depends on time of year, really. If you're in during the rut, calling is going to be the best way to get them out.
Okay.
You're getting later in the season when they're yarding up and they're hiding out. You're more or less a spot in the stalking. So you're going to get up on a high ridge. You're going to see if you can't find them, and you're going to work your way on them because they're not listening for calls anymore after that. They're just all kind of trying to get ready for the winter, right? They're trying to save as much energy as they can, so they're not chasing nothing.
What are some of the predators out there that you're worried about while you're doing this?
For Newfoundland, we've had the occasional wolf and that on the island, but for the most part, it's coyotes and bears.
Okay.
That's our two biggest predators on the island. We got bobcat and stuff like that, or lynx we call them here, right?
Yeah.
But as far as actual predator animals, it's coyotes, and we got a hybrid coyote. Actually, it's a coyote wolf mix. That's what we're dealing with. It's about 120, 130 pound coyote. But yeah, the big coyotes. We've had a few of them. So, but for the most part, that would be our biggest predators is coyote and bear.
You're talking about black bear. Okay, black bear. Yeah.
Wow. We actually, one of my last ones that we had recorded was 450 pound black. And then we got our biggest one on the island so far is just under 700 pounds.
Wow.
Big black bear. Yeah.
That's a big black bear. Yeah. So what's the outfitter? What's the name of the company? Do you you got a website that we can send folks to? I just want to make sure that we're
So it's Besaw's Log Cabin Outfitters.
Okay.
They're it's a guy I guide for somebody, right?
Right.
I'm in the process of trying to go partnership or possible owner later down the road, but right now it's I guide under him. So I right now, like where I work in Alberta, my schedule, I don't work with them full time anymore, but depending on what comes in and that, I can usually line it up for my own trips, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely interested. I know this year the timing didn't work out right, but next year's is definitely in my scope, if you will, to try and get out there. I'm very excited about it. I've been talking to Mitch about it for over a year now. Something that, it feels like that backpack in, camping in the back country and just really taking the time to hunt, like pick out the animal, harvest the animal, but be in a place where, there's some terrain challenges, there's some adversity to overcome in order to get there. So that, that journey is very much part of the hunt, and that's of great interest to me. So, no, it's awesome stuff. I have Canadian roots as well. That's my on my mom's side. That's where my family comes from. So from Ontario, and service is what brought them to the United States. So my grandfather moved from Kingston, Ontario to upstate New York. He enlisted in the United States Army during the Korean War, and he and I actually went through the same enlistment MEPs, right? So we went through the same MEPs 60 years apart, which is crazy to think about. But you served in the U.S. Navy?
Yes, sir.
For 6 years.
Yep.
And talk to me about that. So why the U.S. Navy? How the U.S. Navy? If you grew up in Newfoundland.
Well, that's a good story. So my father was U.S. Navy Reserve back during World War II. My dad was 69 years old when he had me, to just get that cleared away, because most people are like, when, right? So so he was U.S. Navy Reserves. When I graduated high school, I went down to work with my brother in New Jersey. So I lived in Jersey for a couple of years.
Oh, no kidding! What part? That's where I'm at.
Oh, really? Okay, so I was in Bricktown.
Okay, right on. Yeah. So I'm down near Philly, right? So I'm in Medford, New Jersey. And nice in the woods. Got lakes all around. It's a different feel than upstate in northern Jersey, which people always confuse us with. But sorry, I interrupted. But go ahead. Yeah, you were in New Jersey.
Yeah, so we was in Jersey, and then we moved around a bit more. I lived in Mississippi for a little while.
Okay.
I got family all through the States, right? All my father's side of family's down there. So I lived in Mississippi for about a year or so. We went to North Carolina. That's when I joined, when I was in North Carolina. After about a year in North Carolina, I did my enlistment, and from there was history. We Great Lakes for a little while, and in San Diego.
Right on. So, what do you think? Which one was better, Great Lakes or San Diego? Knowing that you're from Canada.
Great Lakes has no comparison to San Diego. I'd go back to San Diego tomorrow.
Yeah. That's something about that place. It's the perfect weather. People always have a smile on their face about because of that. So, it's very, very cool. I mean, the only drawback is that it's located in California. No offense to anyone that's out there, but that makes it tough, I think, if you are, I don't know, like pro Second Amendment and stuff like that. It's a tough place to live, and it just is what it is. I'm not Yeah, I'm not hating on anyone one way or another, but if that's what you're into, you're probably in the wrong place.
Yeah,
That's the truth of the matter, right? And that's the way
agreed.
legislation is written in that state. So, um, so 6 years. And what was your job in the Navy?
I was an electronics technician, third class.
Okay. So what's the kind of stuff that you do then? So you're fixing like
Satellite
the
communications was my priority with that. So I did a lot of like SATCOM stuff, just EHS,
yeah,
SHS. Yeah,
super important on a boat, right?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Ship to
I'm
shore communications, you know.
right, exactly. Yeah, I was gonna
Internet
say
up.
like people
Yeah,
rely on you for those feeds home, right?
absolutely.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
everyone's best friend. I did I was cable and antenna systems was my first job in the Air Force, and that's same thing. It's fiber optics. It's copper cabling for phones. So when
Yeah,
you're deployed, it's like okay, your worldwide access telephones, your high speed internet, your the Wi-Fi, like your everything. People just you become everyone's best friend real quick. So
absolutely.
yeah.
When that phone call doesn't work and you're like, I need to get home, right? I need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Everybody goes, hey, I know who's got a phone that works.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Oh, very cool. So what'd you make of your time in the Navy? Love it? And just time to go.
I,
You were only going to do 6 or
no, to be totally honest with you, I planned on doing being a lifer, but life changes, right? So things
yeah,
happen.
life definitely changes.
Yeah. So
I had the same intention. Like
yeah,
totally going to do 20 years in the Air Force, only did 12 and a half and decided that it was time to walk away and do something different. And life sends you in different directions and you got to go those ways. But no, it's awesome stuff. So 6 years of service, doing electronic, technician job. Any cool stories coming from that? Yeah, I have one here. Title: Plank owner of the DDG 108 Wayne E. Meyer, and I was going to ask you a question when we were in the green room before I hit record. No one in the Navy's ever explained to me this whole plank owner thing. So I don't know what that means. Pardon my ignorance. I'm just an Air Force guy.
no problem. I'm surprised Mitch hasn't actually explained it, but actually, I
Most
think
of our
it's
conversations are about emails that I didn't respond to. So
okay, makes sense. Actually, I believe there's a few other guys that are supposed to be on that were also playing owners with me.
oh,
Uh,
okay.
so Mitch, myself, Jason Tremblay, and Burrell, and that we were all there for commissioning, christening and commissioning of the ship. So first crew, right?
Okay.
Go through commissioning, get its official duties and orders, and become an actual official Navy vessel, right? So all the crew, the first crew becomes what they call the plank owners of the vessel, right? So it's as
Oh,
if
that's
you're
cool.
builders of the ship, right?
So what I would imagine there's some sort of artifact, there's some sort of thing on the ship that calls or highlights who those plank owners are. Is there your names somewhere in the ship somewhere or like
Yeah. So there's usually, in old school, you usually have the names were all engraved on your bells and stuff like that, right? I'm not really sure what they got right now as far as the
yeah.
newer time vessels and that. Like, I know they do the bell engravings whenever they have a child or something christened on the vessel.
Okay.
But as far as the plank owners, I couldn't tell you, to be honest. I think now it's just a plank owners like a book, almost like a yearbook.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
to be totally honest with you, that's something that would have to be. I'm sure there's a few boys that, if they show up, will be able to explain that a little better.
I know. I don't honestly, man, I don't think we're getting anyone else. I think it's just you and me today,
Probably.
Walter. So it's I don't see anyone in the green room. So we're being hung out to dry here.
Yeah, we're being
By
ghosted.
we're being ghosted.
With
Ghost ship by our Plank brothers, right? By your Plank
yeah.
brothers. Um so that's pretty cool. So there's like ceremony that goes into that, or that the history of the Navy is so long. It's just like the Army, right? That
Very large
there's
tradition, big tradition.
so much tradition. So what are some of the things that go into the plank owner aspect of it? Like first of all, the Wayne E. Meyer, what kind of ship is that?
So that's a destroyer. It's
Okay.
the 100th Aegis ship. So Wayne E. Meyer himself, Rear Admiral Wayne E. Meyer, was the developer of the Aegis weapon system.
Okay.
So he was the founding father of Aegis, and so they named the 100th Aegis weapons destroyer after him. So that's where the Wayne Meyer comes from, right? It's ship 108, but it's number 100 of the Aegis variety.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That's
he's one of very few that were alive when the ship was christened. Actually, usually
was he there when it happened?
There for the christening it.
Yeah. Wow, so
Which is
that's
not a
special
common
too.
thing.
Yeah,
Usually somebody has to pass away to get a ship, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's really fascinating. So you get to meet this guy?
Unfortunately, I never got to make it to Maine in time to meet him. We were hoping he was going to make it to commissioning, but he didn't. He passed away a little while before commissioning. But he made it to the christening. I was in, I believe I was in Maryland or San Diego, going through a bit of pipeline training prior.
Yeah,
but, yeah. I think most of my team, electronics technicians, and well, a couple of my communications techs, they were there as well. But I believe there was only maybe one or two of us that were up in Maine at the time when the christening was on there.
Okay, right on.
There's only a very small number that got to meet him.
Yeah, it's super cool though, man. There's traditions like that I just don't, I'm not connected to. I didn't serve in the Navy, so it's cool to hear about it. And 246 years, you're going to pick up some traditions and some different things that are just unique to that branch of service. What do you guys do for the Navy birthday? Like, I know everyone knows the Marine Corps birthday because they go out and they'll tell you. If you don't know when the Marine Corps birthday is, like, just wait, you'll know. Like, they'll tell you all about it.
We got our typical Navy ball.
Okay.
When you're on deployment, if you're on deployment during it, usually you'll have what they call a steel beach picnic. So they'll roll away and hide all the air crew equipment and lock those guys up because nobody wants air crew, right?
Right.
And, we'll lay out the deck, and we'll usually have a nice big party on the back deck.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so there's some alcohol involved, I would imagine. A little bit of
not when we're on our way, unfortunately, but if we're in port at the time, yeah, sometimes there will be. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys are just hydrating. You're just drinking water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm usually on the back, just casting off fishing. Right? But
there you go. Is that a thing? What's the biggest thing you caught off the back of a boat?
I caught a nice sized barracuda, actually.
Really?
Yeah, where were we? We were. I want to say we were somewhere in the Caribbean. Obviously, I think we were in maybe Trinidad, Tobago, or somewhere around. Yeah.
Oh, that's super cool. Kind of scary.
I was on duty and I couldn't leave the ship, but I didn't have to stand and watch us, so I was fishing all day.
Holy smokes! Well, I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know. So a lot of guys do that.
I think there's only myself and 2 or 3 other guys used to do it. Yeah, and it was always my gear. I had a couple $100 worth of rods and that there, so everybody would always come out.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Wow, that's how big is the barracuda? What are we talking here, size wise?
The one I caught, probably about 3 feet long.
Big teeth. Big old. Oh yeah. Those things are scary. My brother does scuba diving. He always says you got to look out for the barracuda. It's not the sharks. It's the
barracudas. Friggers, man, they're brazen.
Yeah. They'll come after you.
They're like a saltwater pike, but with bigger teeth. They're just vicious little suckers, man.
Little bastards. Yeah. So, right on. Well, hey, listen. Here's the deal. I'm going to close this out on the show. I really appreciate you joining, Walter, and I want to say thank you for the the conversation, because I learned a lot in the time that we've been talking, and I honestly, I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting to meet in person and doing a hunt up there in Canada. I think it would be an outstanding time. And hopefully we can bring some disabled vets with us to enjoying the fun. And I look forward to it, man. I really do. To you and the rest of your Navy brothers and sisters, thank you so much. Happy birthday, Navy birthday. I know it's a little bit belated, but I can't say enough what each branch of service brings to the table. It really does take all of us to get the mission done and to really to really take care of business. And it's amazing to me to see what each branch does and brings to the table that's slightly unique. So thank you very much for your service, what you do, and in your family service, to the country. It's incredible stuff. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for yours. So I got to throw my jab in there on the Marines, though. I mean, you had to bring up the Marine ball, right? So you got us all understand what Marines stand for, right?
Please clue us in.
My ass rides in Navy equipment. So where they got their traditions, right? They all came from here. They all came from the Navy, right?
That's right.
They were the guys that didn't know how to swim, so we kicked them off, right? But that's what it all stands for, right? We all got to get our jabs in on each other, right?
I love any time that we can throw a jab at a Marine, because they definitely love to take their shots at the rest of us. So
that's okay.
Yeah. How do you know Marines in the room? Don't worry, he'll tell you. So it's been real, man. It's been a lot of fun, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Walter. Take care.
You too.
Yes, absolutely.